Watch the
Plantation, 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation, saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating, ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation. I wanna clock out as soon as I clock in, but a nigga got goals, so I gotta lock in. 30 hours is still broke, I feel like they mocked in. Gotta do doubles for a band, I'd rather hit the block then. But then, so many caught off the Rico. This oppression and it feels like the Book of Job. Instead of the Book of Job, it's like the Book of Job. After paying all them taxes, I feel like I got robbed. Man, you see this, man? I've been working 40 hours and I got J.O.P. means just over broke. My coworkers get off and they just wanna smoke. Got me, I don't smoke. I'm in this booth too cold. You gotta hear me out. I'm the voice of hope. I don't wanna be stuck in the back of this truck. It's hard as fuck in the back of this truck. Man, just staring at me, feeling petty as fuck. Yeah, I just wanna give up. Plantation, 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation, saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating, ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation. But one day we gonna be free. That's the vision that the Lord showed me. But the other day I had a terrible dream. Went to work and AI replaced me. I'm a raven. Say anointed. Black and royal, same color as the soil. My cup overrunneth, anoint my head with the oil. All my people should wear crowns, different shades of brown. Just like Adam, formed from the dust of the ground. You can find that in Genesis, the serpent is my nemesis. But I get energy from the sunlight. Photosynthesis, my message is black as coal, black as Joe. My skin black upon me, baby, I'm black to the bone. Pull out the blue, red, purple carpet, coming for the throne. Check out the stock market, melanin, worth more than gold. I'm black and comely, he daughters of Jerusalem. They don't know what to do with them, pursuing them. Some claim to be Jewish, I'm refusing them, rebuking them. How you Jewish? I'm refusing them, rebuking them. How was Moses mistaken for an Egyptian? Why was Joseph mistaken for an Egyptian? Even Paul the apostle mistaken for an Egyptian. Acts 21 and 38, I am not Egyptian. Exodus 11 and 7, no, I am not Egyptian. They Ham and I'm Shem. See, the lineage is different. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the lineage is different. Don't get caught up in the system. I'm pure black, more black like the dark ages. The Hebrews that built Timbuktu, so sacred, so hated, called racist. Don't try to debate it, your debates get deflated. I am not one of them, I am one of the greatest. Don't try to debate it, your debates get deflated. They Ham and I'm Shem, no, we are not related. Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, Deuteronomy 16, Leviticus 23, Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, Deuteronomy 16, Leviticus 23. Don't it look like I just came out the furnace? Follow Yah's laws and you know that I'm earnest. Here to do the Lord's service. Tribe of Benjamin, never seen a wolf play in the circus. Will never take the chip, rather fry a circuits. Blessed in the midst of curses, writing these songs and verses. To your chagrin, my friend, just blow in the wind. jewels on my diadem. Comfortable in the skin that I'm in. Melanin popping, popping out. Royalty in the building, Esau. Better watch his mouth. He done started a fight a camp. I'ma have to knock him out. Revelations 2 and 10, no fear when the guns are out. Hamashiach said, be faithful to death, he'll give us a crown of life. Yahweh Shai gave us crowns and I'm loving it. Black royalty with loyalty to the covenant. Yahweh gave us crowns and I'm loving it. Black royalty with loyalty to the covenant. Yashar Allah, we got crowns and I'm loving it. Black royalty with loyalty to the covenant.
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatah. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatah.
Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, Deuteronomy 16, Leviticus 23, Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, Deuteronomy 16, Leviticus 23.
Shalom, shalom. Yabashim Yashar Barakatah. Kum Yashala. We in the buildings, HOIDC DMV. Got my reader in the house. Introduce yourself out.
Khan, Brother Hashar, HRINC. Shalom.
God, shalom. All right, without further ado, we're going to get into it. All right. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh by Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. All right. So we're here once again, another year. Thanksgiving is upon us and our families. And we got a good lesson prepared for you. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but this lesson is about our brothers and sisters of the Northern Kingdom, right? The people who suffered greatly in this country, who were killed, maimed, raped, destroyed. And a lot of people like to take this day and they like to give thanks. And that's just not right, man. It's not a good thing to do. We shouldn't be giving thanks to the people who oppress us. We shouldn't be making their pockets richer and richer every year. So this lesson is dedicated to them. Once again, I don't know if I gave my name, but I'm Brother Karathas Agabar. In the HOI DMV camp. I know y'all see my brother up here all the time. Y'all what's up? But today is my turn. It's my lesson. So we kind of going to get straight into it because I got a lot of slides, a few videos. Hopefully I can edify some of y'all. Y'all learn something today. Yeah, so let's get started. Can you grab that first slide, Ak? Just bring that up. Okay, Khan. You read that, brother?
Khan. The claim that Thanksgiving was originally to celebrate the conquest of Native Americans is a modern perspective on a complex history. As early Thanksgiving events like the one in 1621 were harvest feasts, and some colonial Thanksgivings were later proclaimed to celebrate victories over Native American tribes.
Right? They were later proclaimed to celebrate victory over Native American tribe. Because somebody, can y'all grab me the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 43? Let's just bring that out real quick before we get into this 10 or 11 minute video explaining what the brother just eloquently read. Right? So the Feast of Thanksgiving was supposed to be a feast to give thanks for surviving the harsh winter. The Native Americans showed the pilgrims, the immigrants, so to speak, how to survive on this side of the world, and they repaid them back in blood. Right? Because once they got comfortable and they got their numbers up, they stopped being friends with our brothers and sisters of the Northern Kingdom and decided to start murdering and killing them. And that's what this video is going to go into. But first, let's grab this scripture right here. Bring that out, Ak.
Khan, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 43. The stranger that is in Salakia, the stranger that is within thee shall get up about thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
Right? So that's what started to accumulate for the Native American population in North America, right? And it also started in the Caribbean as well, in South America as time went on, right? From the time of Columbus on, that's when their demise started, right? There were times of peace, but then there were times of war. But once a pivotal war started, it escalated all the way damn near till now. Like the Native Americans never get any peace. And we're going to find out it's not just a straight-haired, kind of long-nosed, light-skinned that's depicted in the movies and in books and in magazines, but a lot of brothers from the tribe of Judah, from the tribe of Benjamin, from the tribe of Levi, who believe to be from those tribes are actually Native Americans themselves, right? They came over here after the Assyrian Empire took the Northern Kingdom captives, and they came over to North America as well. So can we get into that video about the Native American War, the conquest? Let's bring that video up. I want y'all to pay close attention. He's a
lot about the first Thanksgiving.
He's a little, pause that real quick. He's a little comical, but this is not a funny situation. Like the way he's dressed, his attire, the room he's in, he's trying to give a old colonial look to his video, and that's cool. But take what you're about to hear very seriously, because you might want to show your family and friends before they cut that turkey and eat that ham of what they're celebrating. Bring that out. You could play it.
Corn porridge and eel, not turkey and pumpkin pie. It is true, however, that Massasoit managed to foster peace between the Pilgrims and his people, but that peace wouldn't last. Half a century later, his son, known as King Philip, an all-out war on the colonists of New England. What would follow was not just the deadliest conflict of the colonial period, but a
Okay, is the issue with the video? Guess we got an issue with the video. YouTube be playing games. Right? YouTube be playing too many games, but
so who violated the spirit of the original Thanksgiving Treaty first?
Yeah, we probably got to stop streaming when he played the video. He probably got to make the video smaller, or restart your modem or something like that.
Okay, Con. While we wait for that, all right, let's get into some scripture, because I don't even know if the video is actually going to play. It doesn't seem like it's going to play at all. Can you bring up Israelites in pre-Columbus America?
Hard one, I know. The second generation of English colonists was no longer content to or trade for survival. Their population was absolutely exploding. They wanted land, lots of it, and they were developing an entire legal framework to legitimize straight up taking it. Until this point, Chief Massasoit had a very diplomatic relationship with the colonists. But as the decades wore on, the English continuously tested the boundaries of treaties, eventually breaking them outright. This is where Chief Massasoit's son, King Philip, comes into the picture. His Wampanoag name was Metacom. but his father encouraged 2 of his sons to adopt English names as a sign of respect for English customs. Thus he became Philip. Massasoit died in 1661 when Metacom was about 23 years old. His older son, Wamsutta, known to the English as Alexander, became chief of the Wampanoag. But here's where things get really sketchy. After being summoned to Plymouth, Alexander died mysteriously. Many Wampanoag suspected poisoning. Previously harmonious relations were growing chillier by the day. When Philip became chief after his brother died, he initially continued his father's diplomatic approach, and the colonists kept pushing his buttons. By the 1670s, colonist livestock were destroying Wampanoag crops. They were claiming land through dubious purchases, and Plymouth courts were asserting jurisdiction over indigenous affairs. Basically, they were acting like they owned the place. In 1667, Plymouth established yet another settlement on indigenous land. Rather than fight, Philip negotiated and accepted payment for the land, but he was quietly reaching a breaking point. He used the money from the sale to buy weapons, preparing for what might come. As if things weren't already tense enough, in 1675, a colonial court condemned 3 Wampanoag men to death and executed them. Their alleged crime? Murdering an indigenous Christian convert who had been spying on King Philip for the colonists. This incident highlighted a growing fracture at the time. Some indigenous were converting to Christianity and spending a lot of time around the colonists, and they weren't always loyal to their original communities. Remember that. It'll be important later. For the Wampanoag, the execution of 3 of their own was the final straw. The Wampanoag had their own law and order systems, their own way of punishing transgressions. The colonists really thought they could just kidnap their people and put them to death.
Pause that right there.
Philip hit his limit. He believed that coexistence.
So when a white man tells you that they were savages, you can't be a savage. You can't have a civilization without laws. Okay, so that's proof right there. The Native Americans, they did have a code of conduct. They did have laws, and later on in this lesson, you will learn that those laws were based on the Bible. They conducted themselves based on the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? That they knew that they took with them when they were coming on this side of the world, which the Bible calls asterisks. All right, so they had those coded laws. All right, you can continue.
Resistance was no longer possible. The total subjugation of indigenous people was inevitable unless they fought back. Of course, this war was preventable. Even the English Parliament warned the colonists that they wouldn't support a war and cautioned them to practice restraint. It just seemed like an unnecessary hassle. But in an early sign of things to come, the colonists chose to operate, shall we say, independently of Great Britain. They felt they could handle this little rebellion on their own. How hard could it be?
We've helped thousands of veterans get jobs in tech making $10K or more a month without spending 4 years in college.
Philip understood the importance of building alliances across tribal lines, something that had never been done at this scale against colonial aggressors. His coalition eventually brought together the Wampanoag, Nipmuc, Podunk, Narragansett, Nashaway, and Wabanaki tribes, forging an alliance that stretched across all of New England. In June of 1675, Wampanoag warriors attacked their first settlement, marking the official start of what would become known as King Philip's War. By winter, the colonists lived in genuine terror. Philip's forces had attacked over a dozen colonial settlements across New England. In March 1676, they burned Providence, Rhode Island to the ground. What scared the colonists most was the military sophistication of Philip's forces. Indigenous
war. Con, let me get a scripture. 1 Chronicles 12:8. 1 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 8.
Con.
Right? Because Gad was a warrior, man. The northern tribe were known for war. They were warriors, man. They didn't play around, man. They knew this devil was a devil, man. They knew in Sirach 12:10 that this man is not to be trusted. Even though they treated him well, even though they treated him nicely and they signed their little treaties with him, but they knew he wasn't to be trusted. That's why they were spying on him. Bring that out.
Con, just the book of 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 8. And of the Gadites, there separated themselves unto David into the hold to the wilderness, men of might and men of war, fit for the battle, that
Fit
they
for the
could
what?
handle. Fit
Fit for the
for
what?
the battle.
They
Fit
were fit for the
for the
battle,
battle.
as you're gonna see, Salaki, as you're gonna see in this video. Go ahead.
Fit for the battle, that could handle shield and buckler, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were as swift as the roes upon the mountains.
Stop right there. Let's go to Deuteronomy 33 and 20.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 20.
Yeah, verse 20.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 20. And of Gad, he said, blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. He dwelleth as a lion, and
He
teareth
dwelleth
the
as a what?
arm.
He
And
dwelleth as a what?
he developed as a lion.
So real quick, how does a lion move? It hunts its prey. It stalks its prey, right? It even smells out its feces and all that stuff. If a lion wants you, man, he's going to get you, right? That's a pure apex predator, right? And look what this lion does. Go ahead.
And teareth the arm with the crown of the head.
What does that sound like to you? He teareth the arm with the crown of the head. Native Americans, Gadites, right, are known for scalping people, right? And that's what Native Americans are known for. They would scalp. They would scalp their enemies.
That's right.
Could somebody bring that up? I think that I have that in there, but if you could bring it up on Google, let's find out if the Native Americans were known for scalping. Yeah, just bring up Native American scalping. Can you make that bigger? Yeah, can you read that out? I can't even see that. That's kind of really small. I don't know if I can enhance that or not.
You could the influence. Hold on, not always fade over. Oh, scout bounties. Okay.
Yep.
The influence of your. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I didn't say anything, King.
Oh, okay. Scout bounties. Colonial powers, including the Dutch, English, French, and later the American and Mexican governments, institute official policies of offering cash bounties for enemy Native American scalps. This effectively turned scalps into a commonly encouraging the practice among both Native allies and colonists.
Right now, I wanted something just with the natives.
Okay, hold on. There we go, right there. There we go. Right there where it says not universal scalping. Okay, here we go. The act of scalping itself was not always fatal. Some individuals survived the ordeal as the process only involved severing the scalp from the skull along the areolar connective tissue.
That's not really what I wanted either, but it's all good. We all know that the Native Americans were famous for scalping, right? Read that scripture
right, they
again.
Got it from there. Right.
Read that scripture again, Art. 33 and 20. Deuteronomy 33 and 20. Art.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 20. And of Gad, he said, blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. He dwelleth as a lion, and teareth the arm with the crown of the head.
Right? Because that's what the Native Americans were known for. They would scalp their enemies. Go ahead.
Kind. And he provided the first part of himself, because there in a portion of the lawgiver was he seated, and he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel.
Right? Because when they got over here, before they got over here, the so-called Native Americans, which we know as the Northern Kingdom brothers, Issachar, Reuben, Gad, right, Naphtali, they wasn't really keeping the laws. But when they left and they came over here, they decided that they would keep the laws. So that's when you get chiefs, right? That's when you get shamans, right? They were deciding to keep the law they didn't keep in the land of the Most High God. So that's why I say he was seated as a lawgiver. You understand? Right? And he was a lion because he was a fierce man of war. Right? He started to do those things when he got over here that he didn't do in our land. Right? As you'll see as this class goes on. Right? How that's a deep layered scripture. Right? It has a lot of layers to it. Right? We're going to bring those layers out as this class goes on. We can continue the video now. Let's see how mighty Gad was. Now remember, the curses are still on Gad.
Warriors used guerrilla tactics that the English, trained in European-style warfare, were completely unprepared for. Indigenous warriors were superior marksmen who had grown up hunting with precision weapons like bows and arrows, spears, tomahawks, and war clubs. English militia training focused on firing large volleys indiscriminately, not hitting precise targets. So while the colonists were the ones who brought guns to the New World, King Philip's forces were already way better at using them. Indigenous forces would appear, strike, then vanish across rivers after destroying bridges behind them, leaving the colonists stranded while the indigenous taunted them from the far shore. As one indigenous warrior mocked the English, they always keep in a heap together, so it is as easy to hit them as to hit a house. The Battle of Bloody Brook perfectly demonstrated both indigenous tactical brilliance and English overconfidence. As the story goes, during the battle, a bunch of colonists were traipsing through the forest when they stopped, set down their weapons, and started picking grapes. I literally cannot make this up. They were ambushed and slaughtered by about 700 indigenous warriors lying in wait. King Philip's War was the deadliest conflict of the colonial period in terms of the percent of populations that were killed. Casualty rates of this magnitude wouldn't be seen again until the American Civil War. And for a good chunk of it, the colonists were suffering most of the casualties. If they wanted to stay alive and stay in New England, the colonists needed to get it together. No more missing every shot, no more huddling together out in the open, and no more stopping for sweet treats. And if Philip was going to coordinate between tribes, they needed to coordinate between colonies too. The winter of 1675 marked the turning point. English forces from Massachusetts and Connecticut finally got on the same page and attacked an indigenous fort. The fighters were elsewhere, and the colonists killed a bunch of women, children, elderly, and wounded people. But what was clearly an atrocity even by the standards of the day gave the English momentum to keep fighting. They also evolved. Remember the indigenous Christian converts from earlier? Well, the English did, and they asked for their help. Colonial commanders began fielding mixed units that combined colonial soldiers with indigenous allies who understood the terrain and guerrilla tactics. The results were dramatic. As one Puritan minister put it, where Indians are employed, there hath been the greatest success, if not the only success. By summer 1676, Philip's forces were exhausted and scattered. Then came personal tragedy. Philip's uncle was killed, and his wife and their young son captured and sold into slavery. Philip's own bravery and resolve had been the backbone of this struggle. The loss was devastating not just for him, but for the cause. A mixed colonial army tracked Philip to Mount Hope, his ancestral stronghold, the hill from which his father Massasoit had reigned when he welcomed the Pilgrims would now be the place where Philip made his last stand. At dawn on August 12, 1676, the colonists attacked the camp. Philip grabbed his gun and rolled down the hillside into the swamp, where 2 colonists waited. An Englishman whose gun misfired, no comment, and an indigenous Christian convert who shot 2 bullets through Philip's heart. King Philip's death marked the end of the war, but also the end of any pretense of coexistence. Gone were the days of Massasoit's cooperative trading posts and shared meals. In their place were mutual suspicion and unilateral domination. Philip's body was quartered. His head was cut off and mounted on a pike in Plymouth, where it remained for over 20 years as a trophy and brutal warning to indigenous people not to rebel against the colonial status quo. The war's end sparked widespread violence against indigenous people across New England. Colonists launched unprompted attacks on indigenous villages, using King Philip's War as a justification for preemptive strikes. What had once been a war now became a genocide. As a result of this sustained violence, indigenous political and military power were nearly extinguished. Of the roughly 18,000 indigenous people living in New England before the conflict, approximately 40% were killed, enslaved, or forced to flee. Several tribes, including the Wampanoag, were almost entirely wiped out. And the colonists weren't just in genocide. Through it,
what was that?
they were...
Come on, man. So he bringing out something heavy, man. You know, we was getting at him. Gad was getting at him, man. Winning wars, winning battles, breaking down strongholds, defeating them left and right. But once they got us against the ropes and they killed the king, the Wampanoag king, that's when it was no holds barred, man. It was literally no holds barred. They was killing them from then on. It was like a thing to do in America is to kill a Native American. And that's where that started from. That's why I'm showing y'all this video, because that's where that practice cultivated from. You understand? So real quick, let me get Deuteronomy. What do I want? 28 and 65. 65 and 66. Salakia. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 65 and 66.
Khan. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 65 through 66. And among these nations shall thy find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
Right? Because they were always on the run, always on the move. Right? These tribes really couldn't put a coalition back together to really defeat this devil, man. You had scrimmages here and there where Native Americans would win, but the majority of the victories from now on, you know what I'm saying, went towards the so-called devil, the so-called white man. You know what I mean? Like the brother eloquently read at the beginning of the lesson, the Thanksgiving started out supposedly as a celebration of them surviving the winter. But then it became a celebration of them killing and destroying, maiming, raping, stealing, winning battles, stronghold after stronghold for hundreds and hundreds of years, man.
That's right.
Keep going. Continue with 66.
Khan, verse 66. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life.
Right? Because they would burn us while we would sleep. Right? They would just do, I don't even want to mention all types of wickedness that these people would do. Right? Sneak up on us, lock us in churches, burn us alive, give us blankets with smallpox in it. And that smallpox stuff, when you read about it, they would have this man sick, laying on a mattress. He would try to roll over and half of his skin would peel off. It wasn't like the chicken pox. Your flesh was being eaten and coming off in chunks. That's how you die from smallpox. It sounds, whatever, smallpox, whatever. But it was a skin eating lava or disease that would literally have chunks of your skin coming off. right? And they knew what they were doing when they did that. All right, and move on. So we got a lot to cover.
Con.
Let me get Genesis chapter 30 and start at verse 11.
Con.
Just to keep going on Gad real quick.
Con. This is the book of Genesis. Con. Chapter 30, verse 11.
Yes.
Con. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 30, verse 11. And Leah said, a troop cometh.
What?
A troop cometh.
A troop cometh. Go ahead.
And she called his name Gad.
A troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. Right? Because Gad was a troop, man. He was a warrior. He was a fighter. You know what I'm saying? He was a loyal son of Israel. Let me get Genesis 49, and I believe it's verse 19. Can't find
49 and 19.
Yeah. Start at 18.
Okay. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 8. You said 18, right?
No, 19. It's 19 that I want.
19. God, the book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Right? But his troop is going to overcome at the last. We just saw a video of a troop overcoming Gad, the beginning of their sorrows and their terrors. A troop overcame Gad, but Gad, I believe in my faith that Gad is going to overcome in the end, man. With Yahweh Shai and the angels this time. It ain't going to be no sneak attacks, no mustard guns, no, dog hunters, smelling dogs and all, just hunting Gad throughout the forest, throughout the lakes, rivers. It's going to be Yahweh Shai and his mighty angels on these people's, excuse my language, but on these people's helmet. I had to change it up. Right? Gad gonna get back to scalping. Gad gonna get back to maiming. Gad gonna get back to putting a chain over this demon's neck and leading him into captivity. That's what Gad gonna get back to, as the scripture so eloquently put it. Right? Now, we got to understand something, y'all. They're not just normal people on earth. This wasn't just a normal group of people that the so-called white man, the French, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the English, they came up against, right? They knew what they were doing. They knew who these people were, right? I got scholars from Brown. I got archaeologists. I got people who write poetry going to admit to who these people were. So they knew who they were killing, and they were killing, like the title says, the peculiar people, right? That's what you're going to find out. This devil knew all these years that he was murdering, destroying, raping, and robbing the peculiar people. And he admits it that we are able to do this because you were not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Right? So we have every right to do this to you. So he knew that Gad, that Issachar, that Reuben, the main players in North America, right? Ephraim, right? Manasseh wasn't keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Right? And they knew it too. A lot of the Gadites, the Reubenites, Ephraimites, the Issacharites knew because of their people's behavior when they saw those ships coming that this was from the Most High God. This was judgment from the Most High God. Right? Let me get that screenshot. Israelites in pre-Columbian America. Right? Israelites, put that up on the screen. Israelites in pre-Columbian America. We're going to find out what the conquistadors knew. We're going to go through this this information and find out what these people knew, man. All right. Because there's no secret. That's not what I want. That's Thanksgiving. I want Israelites and it's a blue image. Israelites and pre-Columbian America. I'll send it to you. Keep going. Yeah, that's what I want. In the early 1600th century. Read that out.
16th century, Bartholomew de las Casas became the champion. De la Casa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bartholomew de la Casa, the water, became the champion of the Native American Indians, devoting his lifetime to improving the conditions in the West Indies, Peru,
right, so Salaki, everybody can be saved, man. This conquistador was trying to help the Israelites so they could be saved, right? Nah, that's what they supposed to do, man. That's what they supposed to do for the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Khan. La Casa wrote, "These Indians can bring near the redemption if we treat them humanely in this world and convert them to Christianity."
And real quick, fair use. This is not my material, right? I got this from the brothers at Rum Gabar. So, fair use. Go ahead, Ak.
Khan. Shalakia. I'll start.
We are preparing for the redemption of the Western world.
Khan. We are preparing for the redemption of the Western world in the Messianic era.
And that Messianic era
is apt indeed.
Real quick, King, if you don't know what Messianic, because that word is going to come up, right? It's basically believing in the law, statutes, and commandments, keeping the law of God. That's what Messianic means. Go ahead.
Khan. Their conversion is apt indeed, as I am convinced the Indians originate in ancient Israel. Indeed, I can bring proofs from the Bible that they are of the lost tribes.
Khan.
The association of the Indians with the lost tribes was heard again and again.
Right, and that's it on that. We're gonna keep going because we got a lot of material to cover. So this conquistador de la Casa knew that we had to treat these people fairly, and he knew that they were indeed the lost tribes, right? They were the lost tribes, right? Based on their own ammunition, on their own accounts, on their own stories that they passed down from generations to generations, which we're going to see, and by the conquistadors. That's admitted by that conquistador. Let's go to the next slide, Art. Fair use.
In 1524, the Mayans of themselves said, "We are the grandchildren of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who were called that way. We are also those of Israel. Our grandparents stayed in Canaan, in that land of God that our Lord granted to Abraham."
Right, and y'all see the source at the bottom. Y'all could. I want y'all to fact check me. I'm not trying to be prideful or nothing, but y'all see the sources. You can go get these articles. You can go get these books. And matter of fact, I'm going to give y'all something that a lot of people might not know about. Give me one. Go to the next slide, King. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find y'all a critical piece of research, a research website that you could use to pretty much get any material you want for free. And all they asked was like a $10 or $15 donation. Of course, you could do more. You don't even have to donate to obtain this material. Go ahead to the next slide, Doc.
Khan. In a manuscript written in Quiche in 1554 by several Maya Indians, its Spanish translator, Padre Leonce Jose Chonet, had this to say: it is supposed in the manuscript that the three great Quiche nations mentioned in particular are descendants of the 10 tribes of the kingdom of Israel, who Shalmaneser reduced to perpetual captivity, and who, finding themselves in the confines of Assyria, decided to immigrate. The actual text ran, these then were the three nations of Quiches, and they came from where the sun rises, descendants of Israel, of the same language and the same customs.
In the same language and the same customs. Yashala. Right? And that's from the conquistador finding this information out from the native tribes, man. You can't get around it. You Negro onlys, and I love my Negro only brothers, man. You Negro onlys, you doubters, you scoffers, right? You pessimists, you haters of truth, right? You got to deal with it, man. You got to deal with that. That's three sources, and I ain't even close to done. You got to deal with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, if you're a Negro only and you watch this class, it's gonna go from Negro onlys to only one Negro. You understand? Believing in that nonsense. You understand? Negro onlys to only one Negro. You understand? Let me get y'all that source that I promised y'all. Go, if you can pull up Internet Archives. And if y'all got a pen and a paper, y'all should have been taking notes. But go to internetarchives.com. I want to show the people at home something. I'm going to give you free game. And a lot of brothers and sisters in the truth, these top scholars, they know about this information I'm bringing out. And they're going to be mad at me for giving this to y'all. If you could bring that up, King, I appreciate it. It's called Internet Archives. I'm actually going to send you the link. Salaki, I'm going to send you the link. Oh, you got it. Boom. Boom. Scroll down, King. Let me show y'all something, man. Keep going.
Yeah, kindness.org.
Look at all this stuff. Stop right there. United States Patent, movies, television archives, books, and language. The Manual Library. Look at this. Public Library of India, University of Toronto. Keep going, King. Podcast. Keep going. This is all free material. Look at YouTube, right? Look at the numbers under these things. It says 991, Salaki. I could barely see it because it's so small. 796. Look at the numbers at the bottom of these, man. You got court cases, you got TV shows, podcasts, all archived for free that you can access. So you have no reason to say brothers at HUI, brothers at GMS, IUIC, brothers from any camp is lying. You can go fact check them right here. Knowledge is infinite. And with all this knowledge, this is a drop in the bucket, man. Knowledge is infinite. There's no reason not to know this stuff. There's no reason to celebrate Easter, Christmas, Halloween, New Year's, and Thanksgiving, man. Because you can see that these people have been lying to you, man. You can see over the years that they've changed their stance. They've archived it. And they tried to hide this. They don't advertise this website. You know about this, Zach? You know about
Con,
this
I
website?
didn't. Nah, I didn't hear about this one.
Yeah, and I
I
found it
saved it in my favorites.
I found this website by pure mistake, looking for something else, and it suggested this website. I said, "Oh man, oh y'all messed up, man. Y'all done messed up." All right,
Now
let's.
this is good because like one of the brothers brought out I forget his name, but it was years ago. It was like about 5 years ago. He told me about Google Scholar, but this is even better.
Yeah, Google
This is
Scholar
even better.
series too, but these are the free PDF versions of these books, man. Like the books we about to bring out, you can get them for free. You don't have to pay for them. Some websites charge, and obviously you can get. And I mean, this is older material. This wouldn't be nothing from basically this year. I don't know how far back it goes, but they add to this website all the time. So if they don't have it, maybe you got to go purchase that book. But a lot of these old books they have for thousands of dollars, you can get right here for free in the PDF form.
That's right.
All right. And I just wanted to hip y'all to that. My gift from me to you, from HOI to the viewing audience. You understand? Let's go to something else real quick. Right. So we covered who the Israelites are, but I don't think we did a real good substantial job in tripling, down that these Native Americans are the real Israelites. You understand what I'm saying? Even though we got accounts from these conquistadors, I think we could do better. I think we could do much better, right? But let's find out. Let's prove that these are the peculiar people. So they say they're the Israelites, and I say the Bible says that they're peculiar. So let's prove that first before we get into these other sources. Great reading, by the way. Continue this. You're doing great. Let's get Exodus chapter 19 and 5. Let's find out who the peculiar people are.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 5.
Yes, sir.
Con. And thou shalt take the garments and put upon Aaron the coat.
No, you
and
had
the robe.
Exodus 19.
Oh, my bad. Salaki.
No problem, King. Take your time.
19
and 5.
verse 5.
Yes, sir.
Con. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 5. Now, therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be peculiar. Then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
For all the earth is mine. Give me 1 Peter 2 and 9. I'm gonna read 1 Peter 2 and 9, and then we're gonna get Titus 2 and 13. But I'm gonna read 1 Peter 2 and 9.
I got it.
Okay, King.
First Peter.
I don't mean to step on your toes out.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into marvelous light.
So right now, America, our brothers and sisters that's trapped in this American system, they're in darkness, right? We Israelites go out to call them out of that darkness into light, because they're going to celebrate this wicked day. They're going to have the cranberry sauce. They're going to have the stuffing. They're going to have the turkey. They're going to have the pork, right? They probably hit the blunt a couple times, have a beer, kick their feet up, because America works our people so hard, they don't have time to do research. They don't have time to come to class. A lot of them trying to chase that bag, man. They don't even care that this is a wicked holiday. They don't even care that their sins are weighing them down. And that's why they have a lot of people commit suicide around this time of year. They think they're supposed to be happy because of the money, and they're going to get a Christmas bonus, and I'm going to get my son this toy, and I'm going to get my wife this trinket over here. but they're really depressed because it's a lot of pressure. When you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and you keep the Hanukkah, right? You keep feast days like New Moon, you keep the Sabbath, that's no pressure, man. You around your people, you having good conversations. There's no expectation of a gift, even though you can buy a gift for Hanukkah. Like Purim, you can get a gift for Purim. But that's not expected, right? Your kids and your wife keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Not saying your pocket's going to change, but that stress and anxiety will go away. If you don't believe me, try it. If you don't believe keeping the commandments will get you less stress, anxiety, and depression in your life, prove me wrong and keep them.
That's
and
right.
Let's see. And let's just see, man. Let me get Titus 2 and 13. The book of Titus, chapter 2 and verse 13. Baba Kushar.
Khan, this is the book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 13, you said?
Yes, sir. Bring it out.
Looking for that blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great God and our Savior, Jesus Christ, who gave himself for us that he might redeem us from all iniquity and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works.
Zealous of good works, right? Purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. The Native Americans had good works, man. They were helping these wicked devils survive the winter. And when these wicked devils saw they had spies, instead of giving the spies back and say, man, we don't need to do that, they murdered them, right? And the king had to avenge his brethren, man. Right? Let me get that in Leviticus 19 and verse 16. You're not supposed to stand against the blood of your people, man. You're not supposed to stand against that blood, man. You don't let your people just get destroyed unwillingly. You understand? You got to fight for your people. Yeah, I wish I said it's nothing better that a friend lay down his life for his friend, man. Nothing better than that, man.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Khan, it's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord.
And he put his stamp on that, man. I am the Lord. I'm not going to, don't stand against, don't be running up and down Israel, spreading everybody's secrets. And neither as equal, because when you destroy a man's name, you might as well kill him. You destroy a man's name, you running up and down. Oh, I'm gonna tell everybody what he said on this video, and yeah, he be doing this to his wife, and you're destroying his name. You're akin to killing him. He ain't got no name, man. He ain't got nothing, man.
That's right.
All right. So you shouldn't stand against the blood of your people either, man. That's why the Most High is so beautiful, because he coupled those scriptures together and they're seamless, forming a nice S, right? For super important or a spectacular thing to listen to, man. A nice joining together of those two scriptures, man, because they're both kin to killing someone. You let your brother get run down in the street, gunned down in the street, and then you talking about him behind his back, man. It's the same thing. That's why those scriptures are put together that way. Let's go into the next book, and then we're gonna get into another video. Bring out a couple more scriptures, man. Let's have some fun, man. Hope y'all at home having fun, man. Liven up, man. Get up, stretch, man. Move your arms, man. You know what I'm saying? We learning something, man. I hope y'all taking screenshots or plan on going back and watching this if you're not taking notes right now. Let's get into Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. And let me get the highlighted page. I believe that's 148. Right? We're going to get into 148 of Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. If you could put the title of the book up or the cover of the book, Baba Kushar, so people can see what it looks like. So if they want to go out and purchase it.
Bring it out, King.
God. Right? Or go to that website I just showed y'all, and y'all could probably get it there. Right? Now let's go to page 148. And I'm gonna hip y'all something, man. I'm gonna learn y'all something, man. Right? So the Native Americans said they came from the East, right? They had an oral tradition that they passed down that they weren't native to this land, that they came from somewhere over a great river, right? That great river being the Atlantic. So all I need you to do, King, is read the highlighted part, and then we're going to get into another book, right? After you read this highlighted part, and then we're going to bounce back to this book later on in the video. Bring that out.
The title of the book, as you guys saw about 10 seconds ago, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. They want to show the book again so you guys can see the author. Okay, this is page 130. Salakia, this is page 148 in the book called Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. Page 148. Long ago, in our sacred writings, our ancestors informed us that neither I nor any of other inhabitants of this land are indigenous to it, but are foreigners, come here from a completely different place, and that our race was brought here by a lord whose vassals they all were, who then returned to his native country. After a long time, he came here again and found the men he had left behind now married to the native women of the country with many children and living in the villages they had built. He wanted to take them back with him, but they wouldn't go. They wouldn't even accept him as their lord. And so he went home.
Right. So just to hip y'all to something, these are stories passed down for thousands of years, ever since the Assyrian Empire came and they broke away from the Assyrian Empire and they came over here, right? So these stories aren't going to be exactly the same. Remember, this information was passed down. The substance to take from this is that they came from a far place. Now, if you can grab me the book called, it's at the bottom of the chat out, Star in the West. A humbling attempt to discover the lost tribes, 10 tribes of Israel. It's called Star in the West. Some of y'all might heard of Star in the West, depending on how long you've been in the truth, but you actually never seen somebody I've never seen somebody open the book and read the book verbatim. I think brothers from Sons of Thunder did it one year, maybe like 5-6 years ago now. So this is going to be a refresher, man. It ain't just talking about this camp, talking about this doctrine. We get into some scholarly stuff here, man. You're going to see that these are two different authors, right? Or two different accounts of two different books expressing the same type of information. It's not said the same because, like I said, over time, information gets kind of tossed around, right? So you got to use your spiritual eye, Israel, and see that this native man saying his people came from a far distance. And in this book, Star of the West, we're going to learn the same thing. So go to the next page. I think that's page 110. We're just reading the highlighted part. You don't have to read the unhighlighted part. We're just going to get to the point, and then we're going to move on. Continuing to prove that the Native Americans of North America, the Caribbean, the South America, and Canada are the original Israelites. Not everybody who's over here who was native is an original Israelite, and we can get into that. You can get into that because you had the Assyrian children coming over here from the Assyrian captivity, and you had other nations of people coming over here too, right? And staying and living here, Africans and all that. So go ahead, King. Whenever you get a second. I don't know if he got to blow it up. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, our southern, I think that says Southern Indians.
Yes.
That's also traditions amongst them. Go ahead.
Con. All right, the book is called Discourse on the Evidences of the American Indians, being the descendants of the lost tribes of Israel.
Right, but the title is Star in the West.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's just like the subtitle, but it's called Star in the West.
Con. Oh, all right, there we go.
And it's written in 1816. These books I'm bringing out are old. We about to bring out a book from the 1770s. Right? From the 1770s. We're going to, hopefully it's going to cement in your brain once that book comes out that these natives are literally God's chosen people. Go ahead,
Con. This is page 110 in the book called A Star in the West. Our Southern Indians have also a tradition among them which they firmly believe, that of old time their ancestors lived beyond a great river.
Live beyond what?
Their ancestors lived beyond a great river.
Right? I'm a little dramatic with the information because I do that to get y'all to cement it in your heads. We just read that in Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. Go ahead.
John, that 9 parts of their nation out of 10 passed over the river, but the remainder refused and stayed behind. That they had a king when they lived far to the west who left 2 sons. That one of them, with a member of his people, traveled a great way for many years till they came to Delaware River and settled there. That some years ago, the king of the country from which they had immigrated, sent a party in search of them. This was the time the French were in possession of the country on the river Allegheny. That after seeking 6 years, they found an Indian who led them to Delaware towns where they stayed 1 year. That the French sent a white man with them on their return to bring back an account of their country, but they have never been heard of since. It is said among their principal or beloved men that they have it handed down from their ancestors that the
so
book
real quick, they had this information.
You muted. Say that again. We last heard.
I said the key point is it is said amongst their principal or beloved men, so they're top men, they're scholars, they're warriors, they're soldiers, they're top men, that they have had it handed down from their ancestors. So they had this information that's about to come out handed down from their ancestors. Keep going. They didn't have a Bible. Keep going.
Fine. From the book which the white people have was once theirs. Was once theirs.
Yeah, it was once theirs. That's talking about the scriptures.
Fine.
That the book that these white people came off the boat with was once theirs. Because they were living like these people. Right? Now, I could go into more information about this book, but I want to encourage y'all to get this book and read it for yourself. It's a great read. Take your time. Parse it out through the scriptures. Star in the West. Let's move on. We're going to go back to Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. We're gonna go to Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. Salakia, real quick, go to page. We're gonna get page Salakia, y'all. We're gonna just kind of get to the point. Page 364 in Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. .364 in Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. That's not it. Should be another image. Beautiful. So you see where this is, this little box right here, and that's not highlighted. It's a little box right here, right?
It says waving.
Yeah. So wait. I know y'all, I can't really communicate with the crowd or whatever, but you know, if you're my age or a little older, which is like, I would say like, I'm not telling y'all my age, but if you like 35, maybe 38 and older, and I'll ask my brother this, but the Indians were known for smoke signals, right? Is that right, Doc? They were known for that, right? To communicate, right? That's what smoke signals was for. They would use them to warn if the enemy was approaching, right? They would use them to communicate long distance messages to their loved ones and family, right? Could be saying I'm all right or I need help, whatever the case may be. But the natives were known for smoke signals. Did y'all know the Northern Kingdom was known for smoke signals? Y'all read that scripture? The Northern Kingdom, yes, was known for smoke signals. They was in the book of Judges. That's how they defeated Benjamin, when Benjamin went off. Right? The Northern Kingdom got to them smoke signals. More proof that the Native Americans were the lost tribes, the lost 10 tribes of Israel.
That's right.
Matter of fact, let's get that in the Bible before we read this so we can understand what we're reading. Right? Let me get that. Let me pull that scripture up. I know you just, matter of fact, read this now. And because the brother just, pulled it up. He took his effort to pull this up. I don't want to just throw that in the trash. So let's read this portion first, and then we'll go to the scripture. So it says, waving a banner high in the air. The Indian guide soon was greeted. Yeah, go ahead.
This is the book called The Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, page 364. Waving a banner high in the air, the Indian guide soon was greeted by a puff of smoke far beyond the other bank of the river.
Greeted by a puff of smoke, a smoke signal. Now, hold on. Let me grab that scripture. Let me get Judges 20 and 38. Let's see if the Northern Kingdom was sending out smoke signals in the scripture.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 20, verse 38. Now there was an appointed sign between the men of Israel and the liars, and the liars in wait. That
means
they
these
should
men were hiding. Salakia, that liars in wait doesn't mean they were lying. They were hiding. Go ahead. Waiting for a signal. Go ahead.
That they should make a great flame with smoke rise up out of the city.
Go ahead.
And when the men of Israel retired in the battle, Benjamin began to smite and kill of the men of Israel about 30 persons. For they said, surely they are smitten down before us as in the first battle. But when the flame began to arise up out of the city,
so when the real quick, when the flame began to rise up out of the city, that puff of smoke, that smoke signal, go ahead.
With a pillar of smoke, the Benjamites looked behind them, and behold, the flame of the city ascended up to heaven.
Right? The flame of the city ascended up to heaven, man. Is that it on that scripture? Is it 41? I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, 41.
Keep going.
And when the men, 41. And when the men of Israel turned again, the men of Benjamin were amazed, for they saw that evil was come upon them.
Because they was about to get dealt with by the northern kingdom. Right?
God.
It's just that simple, man. Right? So what is the northern kingdom doing? Sending smoke signals for the brothers lying, waiting for Benjamin to slip up, waiting for them to advance closer into the city so they could put that flame up, hit that smoke signal, and they saw that evil was come upon them.
That's right.
How you explain that? Go back to the book, and then we're gonna get into this video about the 103 facts about the Black Indian. Right? Brother gonna be teaching. I ain't even gotta teach the book, yo. We ain't even gotta read it. We're gonna watch a nice little video.
God,
so start that up again. Let's see who the Native Americans were sending smoke signals. Read that back again,
Just the lost tribes and promised lands, page 364. Waving a banner high in the air, the Indian guide soon was greeted by a puff of smoke far beyond the other bank of the river. In response to his signal, the two men waited. Eventually, a canoe appeared bearing three men and a woman, all of them Indians, to the place where Francisco and Montezunos were standing at the water's edge. The woman got off and spoke to Francisco in an Indian tongue that Montezino could not understand. Although he could perceive that he was being identified in the conversation, she then turned to her male companion to explain the situation. Upon hearing her words, they rose, went over to Montezino, and to his utter astonishment said, Shema Yashara Adom.
Yep. Yeah, that's the Yiddish king. I don't even read that part of this book because I don't like to read the Yiddish. But get
this
is the creed of Israel. Huh?
You want me to read the English part? Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God.
Yeah, we was gonna get that in the scriptures, but that's fine. You can read the English part. That's Yiddish.
Okay.
The author doesn't know the Paleo Hebrew, and he ain't trying to figure that out. So that's what he just wrote there. But that's not what they said. They, you know the prayer, King.
Good.
I think he took the thing down. We still need it back up. God, finish that off, King, and we're gonna go to the next page, 65. 365.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. They have recited in Hebrew the fundamental creed of Judaism.
God, now you see that highlighted part at the bottom. It says they told him that they were themselves of the tribe of Reuben.
It's
kind of cut off, and that the tribe of Joseph lived on an island nearby. Right?
You want me to read that?
No, that's all I needed. I just read it real quick. Go to the next page.
Okay.
Go to the next page, King. 65. Just this first 3 lines in this top part, and then we're gonna bring up Psalms 2 and 8 and Revelations 2 and 26. I hope I'm not going too fast, but if I am, so be it. You can pause it, you can screenshot, you can rewind it, you can watch this whole thing again. So I apologize if I'm going too fast. But damn it, I got the spirit. We cooking. We cooking. Let's go, King.
And what was that? Revelations what?
No. We're gonna read this first, and then we're gonna get those.
Okay.
I just called them. I just called them out of my head.
Con. This is the lost tribe discovered. A lost tribe discovered in New York, page 365. His ancestors, to their eternal shame, had indeed made war on them and persecuted them. Only the sorcerers of his tribe had perceived that they were a special people and had given warning that they should be left alone. The God of these children of Israel is the true God, Shalakia. They had said, and everything inscribed on the tablets is true. At the end of the days, they will be lords of all the nations of the
Shalakia, at the end days, they're going to be what?
They will be lords of all the nations of the earth.
Well, there it is. There's salvation for the nations, man. We're going to be lords of all the nations on the earth. Go ahead.
One nation will come bringing many things to this land. And after we have all been provided for, these children of Israel will go forth from where they now are and reign over the whole earth as they once did.
What? They're going to do what?
Where they now are and reign over the whole earth as they once did.
As they once did in the time of Solomon and in the time of David. Let me get that. And that was every known kingdom. Let me get that Psalms 2 and 8, King. Let me get that Psalms 2 and 8 out. So even these books be having prophetic prophecies and visions, man. They know what's up. They know what's up, man. So you can't tell me the white race don't know what's going on, man. These books ain't in your so-called high schools, but they're in your libraries. They're in your universities, and they're not taught. They're not taught. All right? Go ahead, King.
Con, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 8. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
Verse 9.
Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
God, now you can't really argue with that, right? We literally just read it in this book. We're going to have rulership. That just denotes rulership on the earth, having the ultimate power to reign on the earth. That's all that scripture is saying. And if they act up, we're going to have the ability to put them in their place. You understand? Let me get Revelation chapter 2 and verse 26. Precepticons. Precepticons in here. Go ahead, King.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 26.
Bring it out.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Now, I always bring this up to Christians. Do y'all want that rod? Do y'all want that power? Pause. Y'all want that power over the nations? But you got to keep works. It doesn't say the commandments are done away with. I just keep the faith. It says the works. Remember that. Keep going.
That's right.
God. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Go ahead.
As the vessels of a powder shall they be broken to shivers, even as I receive of my Father.
Even as Christ received of his Father, King. All right, that's it on that. Now let's get into this mighty video of another book discussing who the natives are. right? A hidden identity of natives, because you got a lot of people in DC, Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland. They write on their job application African American. They check the box Negro. They check the box colored. They check the box over this decades. They've been checking these boxes, but they ain't got nothing to do with you. Now, I'm not saying every single black person in the DMV area is a so-called Native American. I'm not from here, but I've been living here for almost 15 years. Right? I believe in my heart of hearts and my spirit, I'm from the tribe of Judah. But you got a lot of natives that's calling themselves African American. They ain't got nothing to do with being an African American. Right? They dark-skinned natives, man. Right? Not saying that the natives have a phenotype at this point, but their early beginning phenotype didn't just disappear, okay? It might have gotten mixed up a little bit here and there, but it's still there. You understand? You go do your research, you'll find the black Afro-Indian. And we're going to read about a book. I think it's called 103 Facts About the Black Indian or something like that. Bring that out, King. Let's bring up the title of the book first, and then let's go into the video. This is a camp I was involved in, and we brought this book out, right? Yep. Read that real quick out. 103 Facts. I'll read it. 103 Facts About the Black Indian of the West Hemisphere outline. All right?
Come on.
Let's bring that out. Y'all can screenshot that. Good luck trying to find that book. I think the Cap got that book. Maybe he can print you one. But that book now is, I believe, thousands of dollars. They don't like what was written in that book. Right? You ain't gonna learn your boy. You ain't gonna learn who you really are. I ain't saying you blacks is not Israelites, but you ain't gonna learn this land belongs to you, man. And you ain't gotta pay taxes. And you ain't gotta be subject to. You ain't gonna learn that. Go ahead, bring up the camp video, King. Fair use is HOI DC DMV. The teacher's brother Yakutas, formerly of HOI DC DMV. Right, he's gonna bring out this book, and y'all gonna learn something. I'm gonna go on mute. Yashala. You got the start time, King? God, brother on point.
Hold that. The reason why I'm saying this about that heretical doctrine. Read this real quick. So we were saying it's 103 facts, right, about the black Indian. Read this. We start right here. Oh, I also later. Go ahead.
From the book, 103 Amazing Facts About Black Indians of the Western Hemisphere outline.
So we're going to read some facts about the so-called Indians. And it said black Indians. And it means so-called black. It's not talking about skin color. A lot of you niggas are obsessed with color.
I also later learned why, as a child, the kids teased me when I told them I was Indian. I did not fit the program image that was instilled into most people.
Right.
They did not know, like most adults today, that we all do not look the same. Look like Sitting Bull.
We all do not do what?
Look like Sitting Bull and Geronimo.
So this so-called black Indian is admitting that Sitting Bull and Geronimo are so-called Indians, but watch what he gonna call the so-called Indians.
Go ahead. When I got older, I learned that the titles Negro, colored, and black does not represent a nationality. I learned that in the non-so-distant past, any dark-skinned or brown-skinned person, be they indigenous to the Western Hemisphere, Africa, Asia, or Europe, we're called Negro or colored.
So basically, anybody that's dark-skinned that was an Israelite, they named the dark-skinned ones Negroes. That's what they did, or color. Go ahead.
By those who were melanin recessive.
See that? By who?
By those who were melanin recessive.
So this differentiation and this confusion, it was labeled by the damn white man. You damn white man head, green ass niggas with that damn ass doctrine.
That's the new name.
Huh?
Melanin recessive.
And it's sad because you got niggas aggressive on this doctrine, but it's a damn cracker doctrine. Go ahead.
Melanin recessive, so-called white people.
Right. Go ahead.
I learned that millions of my people, the darker natives, were relabeled as Negroes and colored, and again relabeled as Black Americans.
See that? So a lot of our people that is the Northern Kingdom, they don't even know to the day.
Right.
So how you niggas even know who Northern Kingdom is and who ain't?
Right.
Heretical ass niggas, man. A lot of our brothers that say they Judah, they are not Judah. They are Gad or Reuben.
Right.
That's right.
My pale-skinned European. I learned that the titles were colonized titles.
They were what?
Colonized titles.
So who are the colonizers?
White man.
Go ahead.
Intentionally placed upon my people. The condition that conditioned them into thinking that we all come from Africa.
See that? See that? Hold up. See that? So now the Negro only niggas, they always talking about Africans. The Negro only niggas always talking about Africans.
You good, Doc? You good? You learning?
Africa.
Yeah, you learning, right?
Niggas
learning,
got an
right?
affinity for Africa. And Africa, you ain't listen. Just because you come from Africa, that don't mean your skin dark skin. You got light skinned Africans.
Right.
Dio, what's her name? The actress, the white one? Dio Nelson something?
No, she wasn't cracking South Africa.
Right, she's the South, but she's not. But she was born there.
Right.
But she ain't African.
Right. Go ahead.
Charlene Theron, that's right. Charlene Theron.
Go ahead.
To condition them into thinking that we all come from Africa. Oh man, Spain.
Ho, where?
Spain.
Who would think they come from Spain?
Nobody.
No, the ones you call Mumsers,
Right.
the light-skinned Hispanics that you call Mumsers, that is Israel.
Right.
They think they come from Spain.
Right, Doc.
Go ahead.
Or everywhere else other than being indigenous to these shores.
See that? Go ahead. What you got? I just want to go down here. That's it at the end of that.
It's already here, huh?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, you. Right.
Many of my people who did not maintain their true tribal identity became victims of being psychologically, spiritually, and geographically removed from their native land and placed on a continent 2,000 miles across the Atlantic.
See that? See that?
So like 2,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean, Africa.
So look at this. Now,
How you get here?
let me show you something. If we just all Africans and the Northern Kingdom, let me say something. If the Northern Kingdom is not our people, we got John Henry Clark right here, right? This says Christopher Columbus and the African slave trade. Did Christopher Columbus come to the west coast interiors of Africa during the 1600s? Who did he conquer?
He conquered the southern.
He conquered the Northern Kingdom in the 1400s, right? We came over here in the 1600s, right? So why does this say Christopher Columbus and the African slave trades? And we're going to get into this too. Go ahead. I had that book for 30 years. Go ahead, flip the page. That tells you how Christopher Columbus put in motion the transatlantic slave trade. So the Israelites was a part of the transatlantic slave trade, right? So if the Northern Kingdom or the so-called Hispanics is not Israelites, why was they a part of our transatlantic slave trade?
Right. Read, Doc. Preach, Doc.
Go ahead. Go to that next one. We just gonna get some stuff out of here to shut down this heretical doctrine. Yeah, is that it? Stop. Yeah, stop it, bro.
Number 10.
Yeah.
Cut. Out of the book, 103 Amazing Facts About the Black Indian of the Western Hemisphere. The U.S. government selected a certain psychological type of native.
Is that what they do?
The U.S. government selected a certain psychological type of native.
A certain psychological type of native. Somebody who they wanted you to think that all the so-called natives look like. Go ahead.
AKA Indians.
Right. AKA Indians.
To promote to the world.
To do what?
To promote to the world.
To do what?
To promote to the world.
And this is what you dumbass niggas is promoting to the Israelites too. Go ahead.
Right.
As this is a real Indian. So like, let me read that again from the top. The U.S. government selected a certain psychological type of native, aka Indian, to promote to the world as, quote, this is the real Indian, unquote.
Right.
As well as, quote, this is how a real Indian looks,
right,
unquote.
Right. Go to the next one.
Number 11. The dark-skinned native indigenous to the Western Hemisphere, aka Indians, were reclassified.
What were they?
Reclassified during the 17 and 1800s as Negroes and colors.
That's why everybody think the Indians was wiped out from Washington D.C. The Indians walking all up and down this job. That's right.
Bring that out.
A lot of you niggas think you came from Africa. You ain't come from no Africa. Right. You came from Israel. You came from Israel 1,300 some odd years ago. A little bit longer than that. I mean, 2,000.
Right.
Before we even departed out of the eastern hemisphere. Go ahead.
Certain dark-skinned natives were allowed to settle on conservation.
See that? Certain dark-skinned natives were allowed to settle on reservation, right?
With pale-skinned natives.
Go ahead.
Most were not.
So they telling you they selected the pale-skinned natives to be on the reservations to give that look that this the only way that the so-called Indians look.
Right.
How the hell we just all dark-skinned? We got women, we call them red bones. We got brothers that's light-skinned. So all of the light-skinned brothers of our and sisters of our nation, they not Israel because they light-skinned?
Right.
You niggas are sickening.
Hey, let's stop it right there.
If he spoke Spanish, you niggas would call him a mumsy.
God, let's stop it right there. All right, so as you can see, man, a lot of brothers in this area, the DMV area, were classified as Negro. You know, prove the book wrong, man. Prove the author wrong, man. Just know he's a scholar with several PhDs, I believe. Right? So you're gonna have a tough time doing that. Let's go to another article before we get into this quick video. It's a picture of the Pope at the left. It's called National. An indigenous youth delegate meets with the Pope. I'm going to read this little quick article, watch this quick video, and then we're going to get into like one more video or a couple scripts, one more video, and I believe we out of here. So thank y'all for sticking with us for as long as y'all have. Hopefully y'all learned something. Your brother's still learning stuff and being entertained. There was another book, might go into it, you know, maybe a couple paragraphs, just a paragraph or two. I just want to prove the name of Yahweh, that the Native Americans had it before they discovered the Dead Sea Scrolls, before they discovered the I don't know why I want to say Mayan text, but no, it's the Moabite tablets. Right? The author wrote about them saying the name before they discovered it, even though those artifacts date back for thousands of years. They didn't have them. They had just discovered them in the 1800s. So let's get into that article real quick, not to confuse anybody. National picture of the Pope. There we go. Beautiful.
In Slovakia.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was something that Dr. Ty said that that people need to pay attention to. He said they selected those certain Negroes and Indians on the reservations. So that's the same thing. And what they're doing today is they're putting who they want in front of us. These celebrities, these this. So that is all orchestrated. It's all methodical.
Come on, King. It's telling. You know what I'm saying? And this is, once again, this is all information we could have been had. They're not teaching us this stuff in school. Everything in school your kids learn is literally watered down. It's super soaker information on wet paper. That's what it is. That's the best analogy I can give. Super soaker on wet paper.
In Slovakia, real quick, the person who invented Super Soaker, I believe he just got paid for it. It was a black man.
Yeah, it was a black man. They finally paid him for that?
Yeah. It was in the I saw it just maybe about a week or two ago.
Oh, praises, King.
Oh, yeah, all praises. Yeah, all praises.
You know, hopefully he becomes an Israelite and donates it to a camp.
Hey, they probably killed that brother. I don't know. I mean, they left the lady from
y'all ain't
they
getting
left the lady from Terminator alive.
I said they said, "Man, y'all ain't getting no Super Soaker royalties." But now that they paid them, do you see them promoting Super Soakers anymore?
You know what? No. It's funny because once they paid that lady from inventing the Matrix and Terminator, I think because they paid her what, 6-7 years ago? The lady who invented the Terminator and her. And then and she didn't really get everything. I mean, that stuff was like billions of dollars. They just gave her a couple, probably like 40-60 million, something like that. But always. Always, man. So you want me to read this one right here?
Yeah, Barbecue Shaw, if you would kindly get into that.
All right. So everyone sees that Edomite, that devil on the page, which is reference to the Pope, that evil guy, the pervert. So this is from a magazine, and an indigenous youth delegate met with the Pope. Here's what she wants him to do next. The statement repudiates. Thank you. The statement repudiates the very mindset and worldview that gave rise to the original papal bulls. The Reverend David.
Real quick, the papal bulls. We always go to that sign of the White Christ, which is Caesar Borgia. His father created the papal bulls, right? The significant one that allows Spain, France, and Portugal, and I don't think the Dutch. I think the Dutch was in cahoots with England, but it allowed them to go into the interiors of Africa and over here on this side of America to claim land, to take the people and enslave the people. That's what the papal bull is about. The doctrine of discovery. This article goes into them repudiated it because it still affects Native Americans and blacks, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. To this very day, they did repudiate. He apologized. They did repudiate it, but I think it's still law. They haven't wiped it off the law books as of yet. Right? I guess the brother wants you to read that real quick.
Yeah,
the papal bull.
The
papal bull.
The papal bull, the history. Papal bulls have been in use at least since the 6th century, but the phrase was not used until around the end of the 13th century.
Right.
And then only internally for unofficial administrative purposes. However, it had become official by the 15th century when one of the offices of the apostolic chancery was named the Register of Bulls. By the accession of the Pope Leo in 1048, a clear distinction developed between two classes of bulls of greater and less solemnity. The majority of the great bulls now in existence are in the nature of the confirmations of property, of charters of protection accorded to the monasteries and religious institution. Okay, that makes sense. In an era when there was much fabrication.
I think he took it away.
Kind, but that's basically talking about what you were talking about, stating what you were saying about the fabrication and them going in there in order to they fabricated things in order to make this a thing to enslave and conquer and take over.
John, I got a much
That's
better
right.
article, but I just wanted to get this out real quick, and then the video will expound on it even more.
Okay, so let me continue. All right, so I'm gonna start over. The statement repudiates the very mindset and worldview that gave rise to the original papal bulls. The Reverend David McCullen, executive director of the program for discerning leadership based in Rome, told NPR, it renounces the mindset of culture or racial superiority, which allowed for the objectification or subjection of people, and strongly condemns any attitudes or actions that threaten or damage the dignity of human person. Here's a brief guide to discovery doctrine and why the Vatican's move is historic. Yeah, that was cap.
Yeah, it is big time.
The doctrine came from papal bulls in the 15th century. The doctrine was laid out in a series of papal bulls or decrees. The first one was issued in 1452.
Now, real quick, these are the official ones. The ones he brought up in that article before, these were unofficial papal bulls. These are the official ones, backed by the Catholic Church and the Holy Roller Church. Go ahead.
Yeah, they authorized colonial powers such as Spain and Portugal to seize lands and subjugate people in Africa and the New World as long as people on the lands were not Christians.
And that New World is America. Go ahead.
Scholars widely note three bulls: Pope Nicholas V, Dum Davus, and Romus Pontifex, and Pope Alexander VI, and into Carata 1493. Later popes revoked.
Real quick, that Pope Alexander VI of Rome is Caesar Borgia's father.
Right.
Go ahead.
And later popes revoked the decrees, but the damage was done. The papal bulls were not considered valid just 30 to 40 years after they were first issued. They were in fact abrogated legally and nullified by the Vatican by the late 1530s, McCullen told NPR.
Right. Now let's grab this video real quick. Right. We ain't got to get the Doctor on Discovery. I want to grab this video real quick. That would be the next video, King, under that article, I believe. Let me double check. Double check. Yeah.
Warning. Don't believe the AI trading hype until you watch this entire video. Hi, I'm
No, that's not it. That's not it, King. Not that one yet. Not that one yet. Should be a
Canada's indigenous leaders
no Pope apology. Should be that video. No Pope apology. An historic Vatican meeting. It's like a 2-minute and 43-second video. It's the next link down from that article, from those two articles. Let me see here. Yep. Beautiful. Reader, play the tape.
Canada's Indigenous leaders say they've waited for this moment for years, even decades. This is their first ever Vatican meeting with the Catholic Pope.
Look, now those are real quick.
And
Inuit
nations met with Pope Francis on.
Pause that. Those are $5 Indians. Those aren't real Native Americans, right? Those are $5. There's no way the Pope is going to have real natives around him. That's not going to happen. So these are $5 Indians, man.
That's right.
Continue.
Francis on Monday. They asked for unfettered access to church records on residential schools and institutions, where more than 150,000 Indigenous children were sent to be stripped of their culture and heritage. Many were subjected to abuse, rape, and malnutrition. The president of the Métis National Council, Cassidy Caron, said Francis was attentive during the meeting, but no apology for the church's role in the schools took place.
He listened and he nodded along when our survivors told their stories. And, you know, our survivors did an incredible job in that meeting of standing up and telling their truths.
Some residential school survivors, like Martha Gregg, say an apology is needed.
A genuine, heartfelt apology would be a first step to start wanting to start healing.
Salakia.
But more so
Pause
for
that real
my
quick. So you notice she wasn't in the meeting. She didn't get to go meet the Pope because that's a native, right? That's a native woman with native ancestry blood, right? Who was in those meat market schools that the Catholic and the Vatican set up in Canada to torture, rape, molest, grape, molest, and abuse these kids for years. They set up a system where they would have a train come through your town, and you would have to put your child. They was taking infants, kids is 1 year old, 2 year old, kids as old as 10, 9, even teenagers. And if you didn't put your child on that train to go to this spot in Canada, you would get abused, beat up. You would sometimes even get killed, ran out of town, however they wanted to do it. But they was setting up these schools so these kids could learn how not to be native. So when they came back home, they didn't know their language, they didn't know their customs. You got a lot of American associations that would say, "No, we're not Israelites. Why are these black people telling us we're Israelites?" Because you are. Just because you say you're not, you have to prove that. Based on the customs of your people, you follow the script in totality. There's no other people that follow it except for the Native Americans, Hispanics, and Negroes that follow Torah that closely. Nobody on earth. You understand? So don't let these native, and they'll be on Clubhouse and they'll be on YouTube. Oh, we're not Israelites. We're not Israelites. They're going to argue with the scholars. Go argue with the conquistadors who was here, who met your great-great-great-great-grandfather. And he told him he was a damn Israelite. You go argue with them. Don't argue with us. Because the information is out there as you're about to see. You go argue with this brother from Brooklyn who's got a Brown master's degree or doctorate degree in that subject of the Native American conquest of the conquistadors, which were backed by the Roman Catholic Church through the guides of the paper bull. You go argue with him. You don't want to claim your true native nationality? You go argue with people like that. And then you tell me, oh, you're not the native, you're not the Israelite. You're not Gad, you're not Reuben, you're not Issachar, Naphtali, Simeon, Ephraim. You go argue with him. Go ahead, play the video.
Former students, and a lot of them have now passed away. So, but it's also their children that are affected as well. So it would mean more so important to them to move on.
Residential schools came to the public's attention again last year with the discovery of the remains of 215 children at a former site. Hundreds more unmarked burial sites have been found since. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission in 2015 called the practice of sending children to the institutions cultural genocide. The last residential school closed in 1996.
Untold numbers have now left us without ever having their truths heard and their pain acknowledged, without ever receiving the very basic humanity and healing they so rightfully deserved. That is nothing short of a travesty, both of justice and of conscience. And while the time for acknowledgement, apology, and atonement is long overdue, it is never too late to do the right thing.
Caron said she was not disappointed with the lack of an apology on Monday because the Indigenous want him to do so in Canada. Vatican sources say the Pope will likely be making a trip this summer.
God, all praises. He's gonna make a trip not to apologize. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna say, "Get over it. We ain't giving you nothing." All right, let's get into this rest of this material. We're doing good. All right, Abner. I need the book, The American Indians. The American Indians. Yeah, Canada unmarked graves. Yep, they did. They carried out a genocide, and it was all legal, like, right? But we unfortunately we can't, we got more information to cover and almost a 20-minute video to watch. So I need the American Indian. And then the corresponding pages that go with that book, which is only one page. I think I sent it to you in the back chat. Yeah, while he gets that, real quick, let me get what do I want? A couple scriptures that was just in my head just now. Ezekiel 33 and 15. Let me get Ezekiel 33 and 15 on what we just watched. Let's bring that out. And we don't got to put it up on the screen. Brothers and sisters want to get it, they can. We're going to read that one scripture, read this read this page out this book, and then continue on. Ezekiel 33 and verse 15.
Oh, my bad. I have my thing on mute. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I'm up here reading it. This
I
book of Ezekiel. Yeah. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 15. If the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed, walked in the statutes of life without committing iniquity, he shall surely live. He shall not die.
If the wicked restore the pledge. Now, this is talking about Israelites, but this can easily be applied to you heathens, right? Because you're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So you might as well do it now. You might as well start doing it now.
Bring it out.
If the wicked restore the pledge, give again what he had robbed. You robbed my brothers and sisters, my aunts and uncles of this land, man. Right? Walk in the statutes of life. How you going to walk? You're going to serve the Israelites. That's how you walk in the statutes of life. Without committing iniquity. Without sinning against us. He shall surely live. There goes your Gentile salvation. He's going to live like a slave. He shall not die. Because we're going to need somebody to build the kingdom.
Bring it
I
out.
need somebody to fetch my shoes. Somebody got to make this breakfast, man.
That's right.
Somebody got to make this dinner, man. You can't be dead doing that stuff. You're going to live, but you're going to live under my conditions. Because we saw how it is when you run the earth. We saw what you did to the animals. We saw what you did to the atmosphere. We saw what you did to the economy. You can't be trusted with this place anymore. So the rightful owners are going to take it back, man. Let me get Jeremiah. I'm on a little tangent. Let me get Jeremiah 25. Jeremiah 25, all right. Hopefully I can catch this before we
Jeremiah 25?
Yeah, Jeremiah chapter 25, start at 12 through 14.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, verse 12. And it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon and the nation, saith the Lord, for
now,
their iniquity.
This is talking about Babylon specifically, but this is duly prophetic because Babylon is in Iraq and it still exists to this day. That land wasn't destroyed. The people weren't totally wiped out. The Persians and the Medes didn't destroy, utterly waste Babylon. This is talking about America and her allies. Go ahead.
I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord, for things, and will make it perpetual desolations.
There you go. Perpetual.
And I will bring upon that land.
That's okay. We got a delay. Keep going, Ken.
Verse 13. Verse 13. And I will bring upon that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah have prophesied against all the nations.
14, King.
For many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of them also, and I will recompense them according to their deeds and according to the works of their own hands.
According to the works of their own hands. Their rape, robbery, murder, subjugation, marginalization, oppression of the children of Israel for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. You've been a terror on this earth. You've been a terror to the Japanese. You've been a terror to the Chinese. You've been a terror to the Ishmaelites. You've been a terror on this earth. And we're going to take you, subdue you. You're Leviathan. And God's going to give us the power of David and God. And we're going to take you and we're going to subdue you and we're going to lock you up where you deserve to be. God, yeah, let's get, I don't know if we have time for this real quick. We still got some more, a little bit of material to go over. I want to get the name. I want to prove that the Native Americans were saying Yahweh's name way before they had the discovery of Yahweh's name, which is the Tetragrammaton. That's a new thing on the earth. Tetra meaning four, Tetragrammaton. It's the name of Yahweh, right? They found this after this gentleman named James Adar, which he's also in, he's referenced in the book Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. But he wrote a book called the history of the American Indian. Let's grab that, and then we're going to quickly just move to the name. I was going to read a certain significant amount of this, but we ain't got to do all that. We're just going to grab the name. So if you could bring that up, the history of Native. Yeah, we're going to drop that. We're going to just drop that book, and we're just going to go see how many books. We could be here all night with information, man. Damn near all night. So let's just jump to the history of the American Indians.
Bring it out, King.
By James Adair. We're going to probably come back to that other book, but this is more significant, in my opinion. So the history of the Native American Indians at the bottom, London, right? And the author is James Adair, right? Who lived amongst these people for 40 years. So he don't know what he's talking about, obviously. He obviously don't know what he's talking about. First-hand account. This is not pseudo information. This is first-hand account. It don't get no more credible than this. He lived amongst them for 40 years. If you don't believe me, do your research and find out. Right? The second page, right? The top part of that page, I don't know if you can zoom it in out. Can you see that out? You can't see that, right?
Nah, I can't see that.
Nah.
I saw the date. The date was 1700 and something, but I can't see this.
Yeah, Con. And go up. We're just gonna get the second page. The first page I was gonna have you read some of that. That's about the feast days, right? Because they was keeping the feast days. They was keeping the Passover. They was keeping the Day of Atonement. They was keeping tabernacles. If I'm correct.
Con.
But I believe it's at the beginning of the second page, at the bottom page out.
Hold on, I think I got it over here. Let me look on my.
Let me see if I can send him a better copy of it. Salakia, Baba Kushar, bear with me. Akium, bear with me.
Let me look on my WhatsApp.
Khan, you might be able to zoom it in on from the WhatsApp.
Right.
But let me see if I can send him a better copy of that page. Barbecue Shaw, y'all. We're gonna get it together, Akim.
Okay, I got it. So you said, is it the second page? The second page is 95 or 96?
'96.
Okay, 96. Yeah, okay. Yeah, send me 96 on the WhatsApp, King.
And it's just the first paragraph in that page. I believe it's the first paragraph on that page.
Okay.
I believe so. I think it's the first paragraph.
All right. Page 96. All right, okay.
Bobby Shaw, thank you for bearing with us, Akim. We're getting it together. I believe this information that's about to come out is very significant, right? It'll strengthen your faith and your belief in Yahweh. If that can be strengthened, some of y'all real zealous for the law. Y'all ready to put brothers to death right now.
I got the page, King.
Okay, Khan, just the first paragraph, and we're gonna move on from here. I was gonna have you read, or maybe we'll go back and read the what is it called, the glossary or the index page, just to prove that they was celebrating. Yeah, Khan, right there at the top.
All right, Khan. It says this is
and
on the
and the real quick, the F's are S's. So it might look like an F, but it's an S. Because this is real
Okay.
old English. It's in the 1700s. That's when it was written.
Into page 96 on the deficit of the American Indians from the Jews. Into that most sacred place where the divine Shekinah resided, carrying a sinner resided.
Yeah, it's rough, King. So take your time with this, because the
I'll
S's
be reading
are
that
F's.
1611. I'm kind of getting it.
God.
Yeah, I read that 1611 is a beast. Recited carrying a sinner smoking in his hand with incentive, which hindered him from having a clear fight of the ark. But he was not allowed to enter that holy place only once a year. On this great day of expiation, to offer the general facts, face
Hold on.
both.
Let's not jump over that word. Let's look that up. Yeah. Let's look that up for the viewers at home, because brothers be reading stuff. Not saying you, I know you know what it means, but brothers be reading stuff and they read past it and they don't know how important these words are, so they can get better understanding of what they're reading. So can we look that up? Right. Let's find out what that. Let's learn a new vocabulary word, Akim. This word right here. Let's see if we can get the Google Scholar on, or the Google on, for the definition of that. We don't need the etymology. We just need the definition of that word. Barbecue Shaw.
Oh yeah. For some reason, I muted. Okay, so the definition of expiation: the act of making amends or reparations for guilt or wrongdoing.
What is
Atonement.
that? What atonement? That's what I was getting to. I didn't think it was going to put it in there, but that's the feast day. That's the atonement. We're atoning or repenting. All right, keep going on that. Keep going on that paragraph.
Okay. There you go, everybody. Expiation, the act of making amends or reparation for guilt or wrongdoings. Atonement in the Oxford Dictionary.
So we're just talking about the Feast of Atonement, or the Day of Atonement. That's what this is going into. Right? There was more information on the page above, but this is talking about the Native Americans, because that's what this is about. Atoning. The Day of Atonement that we keep all year. But we're going to find out as the brother continuously eloquently reads. Go ahead.
And remember, they were Salakia, they were savages. So, you know.
Yeah, they were savages, right?
Yeah, they were savages. Right. But he was not allowed to enter that holy place only once a year on this great day of expiation, to offer the general sacrifices, both for the sins of the people, or Salakia, both for the sins of the people and of himself. Nor did he mention, Salakia, nor did he ever mention the divine four-letter name Yahweh.
Right? He wa. Right? But we all know that's saying Yahweh. So I don't know if the James Adar wrote it down this way unintentionally, but here you go in bold print, the name of the Father. Yo-he-wa, or Yahweh, how we say his name. Now, this was written in 1775, and I'm going to prove when the archaeologists dug up that name, and it was way after 1775. So either the natives are indeed the children of God, because they're saying his name in that specific way, knowing how to do a bold print. Not saying they wrote this, but they told him, well, if you're going to put the Father's name, you better put it bigger than all the other letters, right? That's what the Dead Sea Scrolls display. It has to be big on the paper. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Except on this great day when he befuddled the people. Bless the people.
God, told them them S's is tricky, Doc.
Yeah,
they look
right.
like F's. God, King. So let me prove to y'all. Let me send this to the brother. I don't even know how to do it. I'm gonna send this to the brother, and he's gonna display this on the screen.
Yeah, hit where it's the screen with the plus in it.
Yeah, I'm getting the hang of it now. If you could put that up, brother, I appreciate it. And then this one. And as he puts them up, you could just read them.
Time. Yeah, the double F is as yeah, that's what it is, and that's what I got right here, my 1611.
Yeah.
I kind of got
James
it down
Adair, The History of the American England, published in 1775. This book was released in London, and it was based on his 40 years experience as the dark skin trade was I'm messing up.
The deerskin trader with various southeastern Native American tribes.
Right. Go ahead. Go to the next slide, King. The Miche Steel. Read that.
The Miche Steel, 1868. Discovered by F. Klein in 1868. This Moabite steel contains the name of the Moabite god Shurmos.
We ain't got to say his name.
And some Slakia, the Moabite god, and some interpretations connected to the conception of Yahweh in Israel.
That what was the year of that?
1868.
So James Adair wrote his book in 1775. This is 1868 when they discovered the Moabite stone, which had the name of Yahweh on it. Keep going. The Dead Sea Scrolls discovered starting in 1975. I really just want the years.
1947?
Right? 1947. So go ahead, King. I'm messing up everything tonight. Go ahead.
Your mind is you got a lot of articles, you got a lot of stuff going on. It's all good.
God, I'm thinking of stuff right now. I'm trying to bring out. Go ahead, King.
Dead Sea Scrolls discovered starting in 1947. These scrolls contain numerous examples of tetragrammaton written in scripts from around 150 to 200 BCE.
Right. So the tetragrammaton is the 4-letter word used for Yahweh's name. Remember, James Adair heard this, and you could say he heard it the first year because they did the atonement every year. So you have to minus 40 from whenever year he wrote the book or whenever he finished living with these people. Or obviously he was writing this stuff down the 40 years he was living with them, perfecting it. The point I'm trying to make is it's when he wrote this or he heard about it from the natives, it's past 1775. So if the world didn't discover Yahweh's name after hundreds and hundreds of years, this stuff being buried, this stuff being thrown away or destroyed, and they find the relics of this stuff, how does the Native American know his name? You can't answer that. You're cooked. You're done. Slice you and dice you. That Negro only doctrine, like I said, it's finished. If you can't explain how they got the name before the archaeologists pulled it up in the 1819, early 1900s, you're cooked. You're done. That's over 100 years. That's 200 plus years before the world knew the name. I just got to pause right there.
Con.
You can read the last
Yeah.
one, King.
Con.
Marlin letters, 1900s.
In the Marian letters, 1900s. While not directly a text with tetragrammaton, the Marian letters discovered in the late 1800s and early 1900s reference land of the Shazoo, or Yahweh in the land of Shazoo, which is the oldest known mention of the name, predating.
But he wrote his in
Right.
1775. How do you explain that?
God. In Salakia, it's if you really know your history, guys, 1775, was the Revolutionary War. And then that war was for like 10 years, so like 1784, then the New World Order. There's been wars for about 200 years. And then the Renaissance, all this stuff, well, the Renaissance predates that, but all this stuff makes sense. It's a track record, and the whole time they're doing this massive Renaissance, trying to just cover up everything, and they're just dropping crumbs everywhere. So it just makes sense.
Yeah. And then and the so-called conquistadors they knew the name before they discovered it on the Mishnah Still, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Amarian letters. They knew that these people were using the name in different dialects. But that's it on that. We're gonna go to one more video. And then that's it, man. I'm gonna let y'all go, man. But I know y'all tired. It's been a long class. Hopefully, it's been informational. Hopefully, y'all learned something today about screenshots, about where to get the information for free, how important this is to share with your family and friends, not to celebrate this wicked day, because this is a great people. It's God's peculiar people that these people have destroyed, man. And we can't keep living ignorantly, especially after a video like this with all this information. I can't even get to all the information. And trust me, the stuff I put in the chat is minimal. I can literally be on this class for 10 hours. And I'm not trying to brag or play games. That's minimal amount. It goes way deeper. Article, fine. But you ain't gonna listen to this brother no more. Because what do I know? I didn't graduate from Brown. I don't have a master's degree or a doctorate degree from Harvard. I don't know. But matter of fact, I got somebody who does. And let him tell you. Now, he's a so-called African-American man with a bald head and no beard. But the man's very scholarly from Brown University. So let's bring that video up with the timestamp. I believe it's 11:59. If y'all want to do that, let me know what's going on with the time, Akim. And
bring it out, Kang.
About 20 minutes and we're done. I got 20 more minutes and I ain't even going to interrupt the video because y'all should know by now. If you don't know, I don't know what to tell you. You wasn't listening, paying attention. You may have fell asleep. He's basically just not summarizing, but quadrupling down on everything I just brought out.
The possibility that their status as white people made them the natural governors of Indians and Africans, whose conquered and subjected condition reflected inherent capacities. Such proto-biological notions were born in the dynamic interactions of the Atlantic world. The demographic transformation of the Americas affected colonial Christians' views of the world and their faith. The growth of the European American settlements, the pervasiveness of African slavery, and the catastrophic depopulation of native nations required that Europeans reassess Judeo-Christian history and prophecy. In particular, Christians began to suspect that human communities had natural fates that corresponded to their spiritual fortunes. Speculation about the natural destinies of varied populations of people were the beginning of a re-envisioning of Europeans' relationships to all the people of the earth. And the conquest of Native American nations and the rise of the African slave trade were early and continuing accelerants to this process. Race-making in the Atlantic world, in short, was not a project, but it was, in fact, a series of consequences. Ideas that explained and legitimated the enslavement of Africans were also deployed to justify the uprooting and destruction of Indian nations, and then moved unbound through Western thought. Intellectual assaults upon colored peoples informed Christians' responses to all subject peoples. The century-long descent of the Indian in the English mind, for instance, from lost Jews destined for Christianization and assimilation to a savage and inferior race fated for extinction, was one branch of a body of social ideas that transformed the intellectual and institutional cultures of Europe and the Americas. Those ideas had histories. Christians believed Indians to be a lost tribe of Jews. Catholic missionaries in the Spanish colonies, like their Protestant peers, felt compelled to address the lineage of Indians, which had consequences for Christians' relationships with Native America. Early Spanish invaders looked for resemblances between Indian cultures and Judaism, and commonalities between indigenous languages and Hebrew. As we know, Christopher Columbus brought Luis de Torres, a converso, with him as Hebrew interpreter to the people who he might meet on the other side of the world. By the 1560s, Spanish clerics were debating whether Indians were descendants of one of the lost tribes of Israel, or if perceived similarities to the Jews were products of a satanic manipulation intended to render them useless to the Christian God. Protestant colonialism brought equal enthusiasm for discovering the Jewish origins of Indians. In his mid-17th century description of New Netherland, the Dutch lawyer Adrian van der Donck admitted that the theological pressure. If Christians were unable to reconcile the existence of Native Americans with biblical narrative, then, quote, the doctrines of the Holy Scriptures would be subverted and ruined. Several years earlier, Domine Johannes Megapolensis, whom the patroon Kilian van Rensselaer had brought to Rensselaerwyck to New Netherland to minister to the Rensselaerwyck colony in 1642, Megapolensis encountered an elderly Indian woman who was likely Mohawk and who repeated part of the Iroquois creation story, which included, in fact, the story of a divine feud between two brothers. Domine Megapolensis took this as a variant of the story of Cain and Abel and further evidence of the Jewish heritage of the Indians. The Puritan divine John Eliot explained his fascination with Native Americans as in part of a product of his hope to, quote, that I might find under what covenant and promise their forefathers lived. Eliot speculated that they were descended from Shem, or in other words, he incorporated it into the story of the curse of Ham or the curse of Canaan. Other Puritan ministers pointed to a tendency to speak in parables as the link between Native Americans and European Jews. A critic of colonial Indian policy and a founder of Rhode Island, the Reverend Roger Williams, also saw parallels between Jewish and Indian cultures, including the anointing of heads and the exchange of dowries for wives. Rabbi Menashe ben Israel's treatise on the Jewish ancestry of American Indians validated this Christian obsession. The essay repeated the 1644 testimony of Aaron Levi to the Sephardic rabbis of Amsterdam. Levi said that he had encountered Indians in the Cordilleras Mountains of South America who revealed themselves to be Jews who knew the Torah and who traced their lineage to the tribe of Reuben. Thomas Thorogood, the Puritan minister, seized upon this evidence and expanded it. Indians were reluctant to eat swine, he wrote. They often dressed like Jews and intermarried within extended families. Jewish and Indian women offered further evidence of a connection. He postulated, in fact, that an ancient tribe of Jews reached Mexico and Peru, where the primary Jewish influence could be seen in temple architecture, the practice of circumcision, ritual sacrifice, and the knowledge of the Great Flood. The monumental architecture of Peru, Mexico, and the Mississippi Valley suggested that these Jews migrated north, separating into contemporary nations and undergoing a process of cultural devolution. In 1649, when Parliament ratified Edward Winslow's Act creating the New England Company, it affirmed this link to Jewish history. The Society for the Propagation of the Gospel in New England, to the native people of New England, the first of the great British missionary companies and the model for the ones that will actually be constructed in England and Scotland, actually here in New England, becomes critical to this moment. The New England Company promised that education and evangelization of Indians would quicken the conversion of Jews and fulfill biblical prophecy. Missionaries were learning Native American languages, baptizing many indigenous people, and beginning the process of bringing Christian Indians, particularly children, into the English towns and households for education and apprenticeship. A work of God, in short, had begun in New England, and Parliament sought to hurry its course. Its progress required, quote, that fit instruments be encouraged and maintained to pursue it. Universities, schools, and nurseries of literature settled for further instructing and civilizing
King.
them.
You can stop it right there. You can stop it right there.
In New Spain.
Pause it real quick. I want you to go to the very beginning of this video, so people don't think I hired this guy to say this stuff. I want people to know his accolades. Why is he creditable? So we're gonna watch. Where is this taking place and who he is, and then we're gonna jump to 56 minutes and 14 seconds. So we're gonna play about 2-3 minutes of this, so you can play it.
Okay, well, let me welcome all of you here to this evening's lecture. My name's Neil Saphir. I'm the director of the John Carter Brown Library, and it is my special pleasure to be welcoming you and to be introducing our introducer this evening for what is the second in a series of lectures that are being held over the course of this year to commemorate and to give a historical context for the founding of Brown University in 1764. This is a joint lecture series that was organized by the Department of History in conjunction with the John Carter Brown Library, as well as a series of different centers and institutes around campus that have joined us for specific thematic lectures that relate directly to their topic or their sort of area of study. Special mention should also be made to the intellectual architects of this series. My colleague Lynn Fisher from the Department of History, who is taking some time away from his very cherished time at the Newberry Library on leave to join us this evening, so we're happy to have him here. And my colleague here at the library, Margot Nishimura, who put this series together last year in conjunction with a lot of different partners. We have lectures that are going to be coming up on October 21st, George Marsden in conjunction with the Department of Education, and November 18th, Colin Colloway, who will be coming in conjunction with the Hoffenreffer Museum.
All right. So this is Brown University's library. All right. That's where this lecture is taking place. Okay. You could fast forward it to 56 minutes and 14 seconds. And if y'all want to, this is this video is older than 11 years old. You can find it on YouTube. That's the title. You can screenshot the title if you want to watch the whole lecture. It's very interesting, very informative information. Once again, this is a brother from Brooklyn, New York, right? Ahead of a department at our university's library division. You can go ahead and play it.
Alone prove divine favoritism. God intended the Americas he wrote, quote, for a new enlargement of Japhet, reclaiming the curse of Canaan from the Old Testament. He defensively insisted that Protestants had faithfully purchased Indian land to erase any sense of historical wrong. He crafted a bizarre defense of conquest in that sermon. The surviving Indians benefited from colonialism, he would argue, since the value of their remaining territories had increased thousands of times. Projecting the growth of the white population to 300 million, Reverend Stiles predicted, quote, a constant increasing revenue to the sachems and original lords of the soil for whatever lands the survivors could hold on to. That odd rationalization of a human tragedy was made worse by President Stiles' confidence that any remaining social injustices would disappear with Native Americans and Africans themselves, whose decline in his mind seemed inevitable. It was God's good providence, he continued, that the vanishing of non-white people would also erase the moral problem of dispossession and enslavement. Breaking with a long theological tradition, Stiles in fact rewrote the Old Testament narrative that explained the rise of slavery in the Americas. Filled with allusions to superior blood and other suggestions of European supremacy, President Stiles' sermon exposed the tight braiding of 18th century thought. Quote, can we contemplate their present and anticipate their future increase and not be struck with astonishment to find ourselves in the midst of the fulfillment of the prophecy of Noah? Jewish merchants and Jewish students in the colonies may well have found some social freedom, but it was in an unstable, treacherous, and situational whiteness. The passing of the matriculating Indians and the coming of the Sephardim was not, in fact, an inevitable step in the development of the American colonies. The inclusion of Jews resulted from the evolution of new arguments about human populations. I grabbed one too many pages when I switched over. Okay. It might well be seductive to read the story of the emancipation and rise of the Lopez and Rodriguez de Rivera families as a singular tale of Jewish redemption and African persecution. But that focus risks diminishing the actual saga of modern slavery. Jews in the transatlantic slave trade and living in the Christian slave colonies operated within an evolving racial civilization from which few subjugated people would escape. Racial beliefs created space for the social incorporation of Jews in the Atlantic world precisely at the moment that they began to question the humanity of Jews in the Atlantic world. The ascendance of biological racism that questioned the humanity of non-European people also redefined social relations among people of European descent. Early racial categorization traced human color and geography, Asians, Africans, Europeans, and Americans, but it did not take long for Atlantic intellectuals to question whether such regional and complexional fissures were the only evidence of divine or natural favoritism. If dark skin was a timeless indicator of inferiority, then there were likely also indicators of Jewish cultural, spiritual, and even biological inequality. In fact, the very history of frustrated Christian missions and failed conversion crusades made Christian anti-Semitism receptive to racialization. Jewish emancipation was neither absolute nor unconditional. The ascendance of scientific and theological racism revived anti-Semitism by rupturing the humanist underpinnings of Judeo-Christian philosophy, which, as Albert Lindemann argues, freed Western philosophy to, quote, introduce various other refinements within the hierarchy of 18th century thought, including, in fact, arguments for biblically based racial categories. In the end, then, what part of the reason why this moment in 18th century history becomes so important to us is that, in fact, actually, it really calls for us to think carefully and critically about the ways in which the histories of African Americans, Native Americans, colonial Jews, actually get braided together in the 18th century world and can never be understood without reference to each other. Thank you.
Hey, real quick. When you go through this, if you decide to watch this lecture, whatever, you think it's boring or whatever you want to think. When he says colonial Jews, he's talking about Jews that came over from Spain. So these were what you would call melanated people or dark-skinned people. All right. And how the lifestyle of the people who got off the slave ships to the lifestyle of the natives were essentially the same. And they looked out for one another. So they were placed as subordinate to the superiority of the white conquistadors, the French, the Dutch, the Spanish, the Portuguese, whatever, however you want to call them. I wanted to finish. It was one question. Matter of fact, we ain't gotta get it. If y'all want to watch it, it's all good. Y'all can watch it. I don't even think the latest question was that interesting, but she had a question about the natives being of the lost 10 tribes of Israel. And as you can see, the entire crowd is Caucasian, so to speak. I did want you to play the video so he can announce where he was from. So I don't think I'm lying about that. So if you can, I don't know where it is in the video. I think it's like the next minute when he's talking to somebody's going to ask him a question. He tells him where he's from. You can just play it, King. I'll be able to tell you if you got to fast forward.
And there's a lot of activity there of Mormon archaeologists. And Mormons still hold to these kind of that it's possible that the indigenous Americans could be one of the lost tribes of Israel. Do you have you ever traced how that actually came to be such a part of that orthodoxy of the Mormon orthodoxy?
Sure. I mean, I think the most
Did y'all hear her
immediate
question?
answer is actually we have to remember the way in which the Bible actually provided the history of the world for Europe in the period of expansion, so that the Bible was in fact the chronology of human history, and therefore, as Adrian van der Donk, the Dutch attorney, who's describing the Mohawk, as he points out, if you can't explain the origins of Native Americans using the Jewish Bible, the Old Testament, then in fact, actually, all of Judeo-Christian thought Judeo-Christianity becomes a regional religion if it can't explain the globe. And so, in fact, actually, that pressure is there immediately. And so you can see this also in New Spain. I've been working recently on Catholics, the Catholic Church and slavery. And in New Spain in the 16th and particularly the 16th century, early 17th century, there's quite a bit of activity among the religious orders, theorizing and creating, in fact, a biblical history that's consistent and that explains the Americas, incorporates the Americas.
I'm curious, I've always been curious how anybody who knew Hebrew could think that the Algonquian languages were really Hebrew. To me, this is like saying Chinese is really Hebrew. And I wonder.
Well, wait, I should say we do say that. That actually comes right in the next century.
Okay. But I wonder whether the presence in the English colonies of actual Jews, do they recognize that the Algonquian languages are not, in fact, a variant of Hebrew? In other words, does their presence weaken that argument?
Well, no, not particularly. Remember, actually, that when Menashe ben Israel actually publishes that treatise, when the treatise on the discovering the lost tribe in the Cordilleras Mountains is published.
So real quick, I don't know if you heard her question. You can pause it real quick, King.
And is used
she's basically saying like the native languages, does that when you have the so-called Jewish people, when they came in contact with them and they spoke to them in their, in their language, does it disprove their language being actual Hebrew? He said no, it doesn't disprove it. It actually pretty much strengthens the argument that the natives spoke ancient forms, dialects of Hebrew. That's really it, Kings. Y'all don't really have to go through the rest of this. I don't even know if y'all could really hear their questions like that. I mean, that's the question. Oh, you can't hear the question. Maybe it's my ears or my eyes. I'm bugging out.
Nah, she was stupid. She was trying to say something smart, but it was stupid.
Right?
But,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we can hear the questions, King.
One we could drop that one more, and I'm done. I'm officially done. This is just from the book. This is a quick 3-4 sentences, King. Oh, let me find the book. Let me find that book. I never got to that other book. This is a newer book that I didn't even put up on the screen. Okay, WhatsApp. I'll be having trouble finding WhatsApp on my phone. So I can. Last one is wisdom sits in places. Wisdom sits in places. And this is about the Apaches. Landscape languages amongst the Western Apaches, right? Kenneth H. Baso, right? It's about the Apaches. Let's see who the Apaches say they are. The top paragraph, King.
Done. Page 20.
Yeah, you could start where it says our children, our corn draws life. You could start right there. Because these are kind of like poems and expressions and stuff like that.
Okay.
That the natives were saying.
Nothing. Don't read anything.
Yeah, you could start right there in the middle of that, the green highlighted top part where it says our corn draws life. You don't got to read the whole.
Con. This is page 21. Wisdom sits in places. Our children eat it and become strong. We eat it and continue to live. Our corn draws life from the earth, and we draw life from our corn. The earth is part of us. We are of this place. Juniper tree stands alone. We should name ourselves for this place. We are Gad. Juniper tree stands alone, people.
That's it, King. We are Gad.
God.
Oh, Ayah. You understand? And that's what they're saying. The juniper tree represents them and their life and their culture in the Americas. Because it's a tough tree. You do some research about juniper trees. It doesn't need a lot of water. It doesn't need a lot of sunlight. And then you can eat from it. You can, it helps. You can help use it to survive. Right? I think it's a couple verses with juniper trees in the scriptures. Right? I think it's in Kings. Or a prophet laid under a juniper tree for protection from the sun, I believe. Right? And the angel left him food. I think that was Elijah or Elisha. I can't remember. But yeah, man. They said we are Gad. Now, is that a coincidence? I don't at this point, I don't think so. Right? And that's the Apaches. Right? So that's it. I think I'm done. King. Yeah, it's been a great class. All praises to the Most High. Once again, give it up for the Most High. Kom Yashala. Great reading, Ak. All praises. You know, great lesson, man. Where's Cat, man? Cat's supposed to come on here and close us out. I don't even see myself on here anymore. What happened to my avatar?
Con.
That's you, Cap?
Yeah, Con.
Am I hearing things?
Beautiful class, King. All praises, how about Shemel Shai? We're gonna close out with the Lord's Prayer and the water again for the mighty teaching from Captain Karatazar, DC, and a Shaw from NC, North Carolina. You know, the water again to the brothers behind the scenes, you know, the scribe crew, as we will call it, you know, Ari and Abner doing a mighty, mighty job. To you brothers and sisters were able to tune in as well, too. You know, let's keep it going, man. A lot of information. Beautiful, beautiful information. You know, a lot of notes that brothers and sisters could take with them and also use to edify. You know, it's a lot of good information. So,
that's right.
And quick thing, we'll be back this Wednesday. Slakia, we'll be back this Thursday. Matter of fact, with Yeshaya from HOI Memphis, Captain Yeshaya from HOI Memphis, with a mighty class as well, which is called Thanks Stealing. All right, it's called Thanks Stealing. So this whole week we'll be touching on Gad and Reuben and the wickedness of Esau and these other nations throughout this week. And then we got an upcoming pull-up coming for Chicago on Friday. And East Coast will be pulling up for Thursday to Ohio, Friday for Chicago and Milwaukee, and Saturday in Detroit. So family, be on the lookout for that. And I'll praise Yahweh about Shemel Shai. So let's close it out with the Lord's Prayer. Give you at least 30 seconds and let's close it out. I'll praise Yahweh about Shemel Shai, about Shemer HaKadosh. Shemai Yasharallah Yahweh Allah Haynawa Yahweh Ahad Abanawa Shabashamayim Kodash Hayasham Ki Yahweh Malakufka Thaba Ratazaka Haya Aisha Barataza Kawa Haya Bashamayim Natananawa Laham Hayuam Wasalachnawa Habuafnawa Kasalach Nawa, Habuafi Nawa, Wala Tabi Nawa, Banasay Wanabal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan Rai Kaya Laka, Hamalakwaf, Wahala, Wataparaf, Lawalamium. Amen. Call.
Plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation. Saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating. Ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation. I wanna clock out as soon as I clock in, but a nigga got goals, so I gotta lock in. 30 hours is still broke. I feel like they mocked in. Gotta do doubles for a band. I'd rather hit the block then. But then so many caught off the Rico. This oppression and it feels like the Book of Job. Instead of the Book of Job, it's like the Book of Job. After paying all them taxes, I feel like I got robbed. Man, you see this, man? I've been working 40 hours and I got J.O.P. Means just over broke. My coworkers get off and they just wanna smoke. Got me, I don't smoke. I'm in this booth to cope. You gotta hear me out. I'm the voice of hope. I don't wanna be stuck in the back of this truck. It's hard as fuck in the back of this truck. Man, just staring at me, feeling petty as fuck. Yeah, I just wanna give up. Plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. man, I feel like I need a vacation. Saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating. Ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation. But one day we gonna be free. That's the vision that the Lord showed me. But the other day I had a terrible dream. Went to work and AI replaced me.
House of Israel. HOI till chariots fly.
Plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was